As our honored guest for the valedictory session is already here, I request Dr. P.R. Swaroop to kindly welcome him and take the session forward. Dr. Swaroop, please.
Thank you, Ashutosh. And it is wonderful to have Professor Punia with us. And he is such an old friend and a good friend. And first of all, I would like to brief him that today we had a very long discussion with many of the smart city mission representatives, many of the special service providers, and of course, uh, there are agencies who are directly and indirectly connected with it related to disaster management, necessity of having right kind of water, monitoring the project, having the drones, but the thread that continued through all the discussions, and it is so surprising that past couple of webinars where you had been coming and participating here, it is interesting that everyone had been talking about capacity building of human resources and especially our young engineers. And I have been telling them that let us sit down together, find out opportunities for our young people. I apprised them of the initiative that All India Council for Technical Education is taking under your able leadership. And it is wonderful to have you here. And then, of course, we have the recording of the entire session of the day. This was actually transmitted on the YouTube as well as Twitter and Facebook as well. The comments had gone. And basically, everybody had been talking about the need to prepare our young people to get into the new areas which can give them the opportunities to really work and get the value added employment and contribute to the welfare of the nation. In the inaugural session, there were three very heartening things that have happened. Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Durga Shankar Mishra ji was with us, and he has launched today three flagship schemes. Number one, to skill 75,000 work persons to commemorate the 75th year of our independence, 75th year of our independence, and this will be concluded. The numbers might go even higher, but 75,000 is the target that he has declared this as a kind of a national flagship scheme, number one. Number two, he did speak about taking care of our younger lot and especially the young engineers who are now coming in the field and the need to train them into certain areas where basically we require a huge, huge amount of technically qualified and experienced manpower. And you have been with us, and we were fortunate to have you there while we were discussing about the rehabilitation of bridges and health assessment of the bridges. And today we spoke about rehabilitation and health assessment of buildings. If bridges are 98 lakhs in the country, the buildings are over few crores. So as a result, we require, to fill up this particular vacuum where we do not have the people. So there are tremendous opportunities. Secretary also mentioned something very interesting, which during our last discussion when I was there in your office and we were talking about it, he spoke about the internship portals and how exactly he is cooperating with All India Council for Technical Education to make sure that a kind of a connectivity is made among the colleges, students, and the organizations and the projects. He mentioned especially about TULIP project, which is focused at providing internship to many young people, and he gave some numbers that couple of thousand young persons are already benefiting, while working with many of the smart city missions. There are over 100 smart cities in the country, and we hope that many of the smart cities will follow the suit. And he had urged upon everybody to go to the ministry website, have a look at the kind of wonderful work that they are doing, and he has given all the support that is needed for this particular initiative. With that, Professor Punia, everybody is eager to listen to you. So I give it to you. I don't want to stand between you and the participants. They have been really waiting to listen to you. So I give you Professor Punia, gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, and he's here. Thank you.
Namaskar. Good afternoon. Thank you, P.R. Swaroop Saab. It's wonderful opportunity which it has been given to AICT Thank you to Rana ji, President of CIDC. Then Asutosh was here. Many of learned participants are participating in very, very important event which is being organized by ECI, by CIDC, and that is related to smart cities. Earlier, the type of connect which we had some 15 days back probably, that was related to assessment of the bridges which we are having in the country, and they are more than 90 lakhs. And smart cities which we are having, it is 100 in numbers. Probably it will be growing in time to come. Then you are having buildings, health assessment of buildings, also many heritage buildings country is having. So certainly the work which your organization is doing and the human resource which we are having, their connect, it has to be, it's very, very important. And especially giving them a platform where they can expose, where they can be trained, what exactly on ground it is needed. We are having a huge number of young engineers in the country. Every year, around 10 lakh graduate engineers are coming into the market. 10 lakhs, it is a very, very large number. Probably after China. China is producing around 1.2 million. We are producing 1 million engineering graduates every year. But foremost challenge which we people are having, the demand of the industry is that our graduates should be technically sound. Second one, you people are saying they should be professionally competent. And third one, the demand is they should be socially relevant. So technically sound, professionally competent, socially relevant, all sort of attributes, all sort of dimensions which industries is in search of in the personality of engineering graduate. That is our sole purpose of our technical education, that whatever your expectations are, whatever your needs of the industries are, we should be able to provide that sort of confidence into the minds of the student. Technically sound means our curriculum should be relevant to the industry. The teachers who are delivering those content, those should also be competent enough. And the experimental facilities which are needed into the laboratories, that should be in the alignment of the technical know-how which is needed to the industries. Our infrastructure should also be strong. So our teachers, our curriculum, our teaching learning processes, our infrastructure which we are having, it should be strong enough, and they should be professionally competent. When I'm saying professionally competent, when they are going on the ground, whatever learning they had, they should be able to deliver, and the transparency, the confidence, the team building capabilities, the leadership abilities, whatever it has to be inculcated into their mind, they should be able to project on the ground, they should be able to deliver. And finally, their mindset should be for the betterment of all society. First of all, they have to understand what exactly they are. What is their role in the society? What is their role into the industry? What is their role in the research organization? And for the betterment of the country, what they can do, how they can bring happiness into their family, how they can help to community, to society, to environment, and at a global level, what exactly they are able to contribute. That sort of mindset we people will have to create, and their confidence building, it has to be. We are saying ours is a young nation, 50% population is less than 25 years, 1 million graduates, engineering graduates are coming out every year. But foremost challenge is their acceptance by the industries, and strong human resource which industry needs. According to that one, the mindset of our graduates, it has to be changed. World's population is 7 billion. Out of 7 billion, we Indians are around 1.4 billion. So 7 divided by 1.4, the figure which you are receiving, it is less than 6. It means every 6th person on this globe is an Indian. And we want our presence should be everywhere. Our values, our traditions, our sanskaras, our dedication, our core competencies should be in such a way that wherever our youth are going, they should be able to deliver, they should be able to prove that we Indians are something different. And in lieu of that one, if they can bring dollars for this country will be growing only if we are having strong human resource, and that human resource is getting converted in terms of dollars. Our infrastructure, our education, our health, everything depends upon how many dollars we people are carrying, what our GDP is. Honorable Prime Minister of India is planning to have GDP around $5 trillion. It's a dream. And that GDP we can achieve if our human beings, young human beings, only they are human beings, they are not human resource. Foremost task is these young human beings, if we can convert into strong human resource, then only the dream of the country can be fulfilled. when we people are discussing with industries, please tell us what sort of graduates you people are needing. 1 million graduates are coming out into the market. Their acceptance roughly, according to the data which you are receiving, it is around 50 to 60%. Roughly 40% graduates which have put enormous money, enormous time into our technical institutes. Industries are saying they have not been trained according to our requirements. It's a very serious challenge. In fact, many a times we are unable to sleep. If we are having this youth, if they are not contributing for the betterment of the country, what will be doing with them? If someone is uneducated and if he is unemployed, it hardly matters. But if someone has spent enormous time and money into this education, and if he is not getting acceptance in the society, then certainly it will be very difficult to handle that young boy or girl. So our target is the acceptance of our graduates as per the needs of the society. That grooming pattern, it has to be devised into our academic institutes. Many a times when we are discussing with the industries that why you are not accepting our graduates, first and foremost suggestion industries are giving that the contents which you are delivering, the curriculum which you are having, that is not according to our requirements. You are teaching old content. Honorable Prime Minister of India is planning to have a bullet train, which will be moving at the speed of some 500 kilometers per hour from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, and speed of the train will be some 500 kilometers per hour, and certainly it will be designed and developed by our graduates only. But the contents which we are delivering inside the classes, we are teaching steam engine. So there is mismatch. The way we are handling our students and the expectation of society, there is a strong mismatch. The smart cities, when you are saying, or bridges, health testing of the bridges, you are saying, you are having all sort of latest technologies, maybe non-destructive technologies, or in smart cities, or artificial intelligence, data sciences, cyber security, robotics, 3D printing, all sort of technologies you people are needing. So certainly academic institutes will have to change. Even if we are changing ourselves, if we are changing our curriculum, it won't serve the purpose. Curriculum we have changed, we have taken the input from industries, AICT has done revamping of whole curriculum, but who will deliver that one? How that practical exposure to the students will be bringing into their personality? So first of all, our teachers, it has to be trained. They should be confident enough, just like Professor Gupta was delivering. That sort of confidence in our teachers' mind, it has to be. So the help which we need, the creating a curriculum, it is one part. Building confidence into the minds of the teachers, that is foremost. And I'm requesting here, Team CIDC, please join hands all together. You industries and academic institutes. Academic institutes are just like bombed into CIDC or into the industries. Till they won't be helped, till there won't be any hand holding, till we'll be loving each other. Our industries and our academic institutes, if they won't be loving each other, till that time our problems will be same. And I'm thinking that our industries are not growing at the pace at which it has to be. Probably one reason is that we are not having sufficient talented trained manpower as per the needs of the industry. Industries are saying that we are competing at global level. Our technologies, our quality, our cost of the product, or the buildings which we are constructing constructing as per the global standards. Our technology is at the global standards, our global repute. But the human resource which is required, that human resource is not matching with our needs. So alone academic institutes can't do miracle. Alone industries can't do. There has to be a strong understanding. There has to be a strong bonding. There has to be a strong bridging, and we'll have to come all together on a common platform. As far as smart cities are concerned, as far as Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs are concerned, as you are saying, Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs was saying about our tie-up, AICT's tie-up with ministry, and thousands of students they have taken. As per the declaration of our finance minister in parliament during the budgetary session, in our budget, it has been declared that our engineering graduates will be taken by many of the government departments as an interns, and they'll be working. So first MOU which we have signed with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and that is related to putting our graduates with ministry into the smart cities. And Swaroop Saab, probably around 12-13,000 students at present, they are working with that ministry. Even we are tying up now with railways. Now we are tied up with NHAI. Yesterday we are tied up Ministry of Social Justice and Welfare. So in the same fashion with construction industries, where all mechanical engineer, all electrical, all civil, probably all emerging areas which we are talking related to artificial intelligence or smart management of the buildings, that sort of connect we can establish. Even we are having a competition every year that is for smart campuses, not smart cities. We are saying if our campus, our technical campus will be smart, then addition of those campuses with nearby by community, that whole city will become smart. So every year we are having a competition on smart campuses where all sort of emerging technology students are applying in teaching learning processes, as well as water management, energy management, waste management of the campuses, and campuses are getting declared as smart campuses. So first and foremost, it has to be understanding that curriculum according to your needs, teachers, it has to be trained, and whatever training we are imparting to the students, immediately they should be able to deliver that one. Industries certainly they don't be having time to impart training, and even after graduation, if they are giving training for 2 years, it's a very costly affair. It is not possible at all. Second one, industries are saying that practically students are weak. Even civil engineering students are unable to read engineering drawings. Their basic concepts of the students are weak. Even the attitude of the students. Industries are saying majority of the students are dreaming for white collar job, IT based jobs they are dreaming. They have done civil engineering 4 years education. It has been imparted in civil engineering, but as far as their dreams are concerned, they are willing to join into IT industries where there is no specialization. So without knowledge, if they are entering into IT industries and knowledge which they are having, it is of civil engineering. So they can contribute in civil engineering field. Probably the career which they are able to see into the IT industry is probably much brighter as compared to what we are having in the field. So that mindset also it has to be changed. My humble request is the senior team. I'm always observing, and I'm sincerely thankful to CIDC, the way connect it has been established with AICT, and my personal relation with PR Swaroop Sahab since years. When I was in Bikaner in 2004 to till date, continuously I'm getting support, and now we are working at national level for the confidence building of this youth. We like to have a now strong bonding. We are having one intensive portal where many suggestions PR Swaroop Sahab you have given with tulip type program. Even we want with construction industries, all association of construction industries, if they can join hands all together with us, and at least on our intensive portal, what exactly construction industries need, what type of graduates they need, what sort of training we'll have to impart, in what way we can change our laboratories, even these non-destructive technologies which are to be applied into our bridges, into our building, into smart cities. Can we put some model laboratories? We can fund, AICT can fund. Now we are having a concept of idea labs also, where latest technologies are needed. Those sort of laboratories we are establishing into our academic institutes. Just 15 days back, we have given funding to 50 idea labs into the country. Your suggestions, what exactly it has to be in those idea labs, so that immediately the changes which are needed by the industry, those concepts we can bring, just like some innovative ideas of the students, innovative ideas of the teachers, innovative suggestions from the industry, and those ideas can be implemented on the ground. I think that sort of connect we people will have to establish. And finally, industries are saying the attitude of these friends, their mindset towards this materialistic life, that is also hampering the progress of the country. Even if they are getting a jump of 2,000 rupees, industries are saying they are changing these industries. The ownership related to that industry, that ownership strengths don't have time, don't have mindset. So we have started 21 days induction program, mandatory induction program. Initially, when they are coming from the schools to our higher institutes, we are teaching them what will be your role, what are the expectations of the society, and bringing happiness. It is foremost, not the materialistic life. Materialistic life is important, but it is not that important that can surpass the main target of a youth, which is bringing this sort of happiness into, or the harmony into the society. So mandatory induction program we are having, mandatory intensive for 6 months we are having. whole curriculum we people have changed. Our teachers are getting trained. NBA accreditation, it has become mandatory. We have brought one perspective plan only in emerging areas. We will be giving engineering program. Even minor degree concept, it has been started. Someone is doing civil engineering for 160 credits. Some 18 credits he can earn into robotics or into data sciences, into artificial intelligence. So they'll be getting those minor degrees also with main areas. Certainly their acceptance, the employability of the students will be much better. Finally, the cognitive skills of the students, higher learning, higher order thinkings of these students. That part, it has been told from some surveys that Indian students are having those traits weaker even as compared to Chinese and Russian students. And this conclusion came from Stanford University. We have given one assignment to Stanford University just to check what are the weaknesses of our graduates, why industries are not accepting. So first conclusion which they have drawn, they are saying in our education system, only stress is being given that how much they can remember, how students can remembering capability they can have, and ranking of the students are also being done on the remembering capabilities. But what analytical abilities they are having, what sort of synthesis of the problems they can do, how they can find out the solutions of new problems, where problems are unknown to them, how they can provide the solution. So in those areas, high order thinkings, the Stanford University is saying Indian students are weaker as compared to Chinese and Russian students. It was shocking to us. And this type of requirement can be fulfilled if the experiential learning of the students can become stronger. If experiences can be given, that experiences will be coming only from the field, and in the field, if talented people, experienced people, which country is having, if they can join hands all together, and if serious mentoring of our graduates with the help of industries can done, then only problem will be sorted out. Role of industries should not be just like one umpire in cricket is saying the player is out. Player is out, raising finger, player is out, it won't serve the purpose. If we want to solve the problem, we'll have to become the part of that game. We'll have to become the part of that game where all players are playing as a team. Our academic institutes, our industries, our research organization, our planners, policy makers, regulators, everyone will have to join hands all together. Probably this type of event will enhance our strength. We have written our letter to all the institutes, PR Swaroop Saab, that ECI is doing this type of job, particularly for assessing the health of bridges. Very strong response is coming from the academic institute. They are saying we are ready to help. We are ready to join hands all together. Similarly for smart cities and the conclusions of this event, which will be coming in front of us, please do share with us. We'll be sitting again, and how our youth can take the benefit of this type of work which we people are doing. Then probably we can change the shape of this technical education. Otherwise, situation will be bad, and we won't be able to do anything till we'll be having faith and bonding from each other. Best wishes. Thank you very much for giving time to me. Hope again and again we are meeting, and this solution will be able to provide to everyone in the country. Best wishes.
Excellent address, Professor Punia, and a very candid address. This is a very major problem that the nation is facing. It's a calamity, actually. And we have to start working at it in right earnest, and everybody has to hold hands. Would you like to briefly tell our industry friends also the concept of a board of mentors that we had been discussing? This is to bring them closer so that they can basically take care of the students, they can take care of the colleges, they can advise them on many things. And this is the togetherness that we are possibly looking at. So would you be kind enough to enlighten everybody on that, sir?
Certainly, sir. Certainly, sir. PR Swaroop Saab. The mentoring is foremost. We are having around 10,000 institutes in the country in technical education. And out of 10,000, around 3,500 engineering colleges we are having. Now, engineering colleges need serious mentors who can work, who can enter into their academic institutes, who can guide their teachers, can suggest how their academic environment can be changed, how infrastructure can be changed. And already we have brought one concept of a Margdarshak. We are appointing Margdarshaks from academic institutes, from the industries. So first and foremost thing is we need senior people, experienced people for doing Margdarshan of our academic institutes. So there are two concepts. One is Margdarshan another one is Margdarshan. Margdarshan is being done by some reputed institutes. In the vicinity of those reputed institutes, some institutes which are relatively younger. So the hand-holding of those senior institutes or reputed institutes, they are doing hand-holding with the institutes which are younger, which are having lesser experience. So they are connecting some 10 institutes. And those 10 institutes are being mentored by those academic institutes who are having better confidence, better faculty who are having, and their infrastructure is also strong. So even students from those weaker institutes are coming into this reputed institute, and they are taking training, they are getting exposure. And second one is the people, that is Margdarshan, people who have been retired from our prominent academic institutes like IITs, NITs, from industries, even people who are working. If they can spare time, we are connecting individual person to our academic institutes, and we are paying suitable honorarium, suitable stay, travel, everything that expenditure AICT is bearing. So I'm requesting our friends who are connected today, can you become our Margdarshaks? Margdarshak means 2, 3, 4, 5 institutes, if it can be connected with you. So bringing them up to certain level, and expectation of the society and your exposure, if it can be connected with our academic institutes, I think that can work. So for 5 institutes, if one mentor we can have, because mentoring is very, very important in country. Now we don't have mentors. Students are in search of mentors. Even in our family system, we have removed this whole harmony which we are having, grandparents, everyone, it has been removed. Family has become just like a smallest possible piece. If husband wife all together is staying happily, that's a family. So in family there is no mentoring system. Schools, it has been spoiled. They have been converted into coaching institutes. Our academic institutes, higher learning academic institutes, there if some serious mentoring if we can do, and that is possible. The experience and the energy of the youth, if it can be combined all together. So Swaroop Saab, the action which we are planning, that with 5 institutes, with one mentor, we can have, even you may be knowing that to BD Mundraji also, we have requested, he has become one chair professor now. He'll be guiding some 10 institutes, just like MK Sridharanji, topmost people of the country, we are bringing on this common platform with AICT, and they are doing serious work. Your team is very big. I know the capabilities which you people are having, ECI is having, it is enormous. And that capabilities in the form of Margdarshan, we would like to bring. So some mechanism we can devise for that one. We can sit, we can bring one document, one policy we can bring, and then we can extend our request to all the learned, our partners.
This is the right time for us to have some kind of board of mentors. That is something where, this whole body can sit down together and start forming policies, and also hand-holding the institutions and advising them on many of the things, and especially to look after the young persons so that they come out of the kind of clutches they have. As far as AICT making payments and other things, that is a minor issue. That is not something which is very important, because what I feel that it is more than the kind of vocation that any of the senior person in the industry is looking for. It is basically to recognize the problems that we have staring in our face, and to help out and to make sure that we develop people for ourselves. And majority of the mentors that will be coming in, they have absolutely a lot of engagement otherwise, but then they definitely would be loving to mentor the institutions. So let us start working on that particular concept, and I think we'll take it further. So
finally, I'll be saying, once students have been graduated, say, and then when he has come out in the field, and if we are saying that these are the shortcomings, there is no meaning of that one. If they are in the system, when they are being groomed, that time, if we are doing some corrective measures, if feedback we are getting, and if some shortcomings are there into the system itself, while they are being groomed in 4 years, that time if some corrective measures we can take, that will be a great help. That time we can change curriculum, we can change teaching learning processes, we can change the method of exposure, we can enhance the internship. So everything during the processing, if it is being pointed out, then it will be a good.
You are absolutely right. As a matter of fact, the gist of our discussion always had been that if the industry says that people are not adequate, then I think we have to go to them and say that you are going to be the mentor. Please make sure that you have all the ingredients available with you. We are willing, and with open heart, we are giving you the ingredient. Now prepare the boys and girls the way you think they are going to be serving our purpose. And there had been variety of options that you have there. And the commonality is that each one and every one of them who came out today and spoke about various topics, even within a segment of a smart city segment I'm talking about, everybody was focusing again on human resources. Everybody said that, well, we can do all these wonderful things. There are islands of excellence we have, but unless we make it a generality, we are not able to do all those things. So I think that is where this concept, your concept of board of mentors is going to be, of course, very, very useful. And CIDC, anyway, you know it very well, that we are committed to this particular situation. We have been dwelling on this issue for quite some time, and we had been recognizing the problem as one of the largest human resource developers in the country. We know exactly where the shoe is pinching. So I think this is the time for us to take it in the right earnest and push it forward. You have always been very supportive and helpful, and I'm very sure that this support will definitely come because we have a common mission, and that is what we have to fulfill. So thank you very much, Professor Saab. It was wonderful listening to you as ever. I always say that you always make my day. And they always say that, why do you call Professor Saab in the evening? I say the best dish for any feast is the sweet dish, which is always served at the end. So it was wonderful to listen to you and have wonderful ideas. We have many things that we have to do together and many, many years to go together. So we'll make sure that this problem is all sorted out. Okay?
Yeah, Professor Punia, we are with you, and we admit that all the ideas you have given, we also endorse them. So we are a team, we will work with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, good afternoon, all of you. This is from London, and right now we are at 12 p.m. And I'm really happy to hear all of you. So good and useful. Though I'm nothing to do with the Indian system and all, but at last, when I heard about Professor Punia, his thoughts and his speech was not only for the infrastructure or for the progress in the study or in the industry or for the professional, but for the harmony of the family, which he is rightly saying that we all are missing in our life. Being in nuclear family, we are forgetting that what is the exact meaning of harmony and togetherness of the family and togetherness of any company. So it's really good to hear Professor Punia. Please update me with all your details, and whatever and howsoever we can be helpful to do this and to promote, we are always happy to do that.
Thank you.
And once again, thank you. With regards, all of you serious speakers, really, I'm very happy to hear all of you.
Ma'am, can you just introduce yourself for each one's benefit?
Yes. I'm Dr. Renu Raj and CEO of Radhans International Legal Consultancy and Mediation Training and Services provided worldwide. I'm into London politics. I'm a mediator also, and we are a leading practitioner in Chancery Lane, Holborn, London.
As a matter of fact, I think this is very timely that you have intervened. Let me give you another very heartening news. I had been chairing the subgroup on online dispute resolution set up by Ancestral. And we had been able to come out with the kind of SOPs, and these SOPs had been sent to all the member governments. And one very major issue there also arises, that is that majority of our arbitrators, they are very elderly people. They are beyond 70, 75, 80, or many of them are even beyond 90 for that matter. The wisdom prevails there, as you know, as a legal person. But the fact of the matter is that if we have to do all these things online, then you require a huge lot of young people who know how to use IT techniques. And
Indeed.
that is where we have also started a program. As a matter of fact, you'll be happy to know that subsequent to the recommendation that Professor Punia sent to various schools and colleges, there are at least about 50 young boys and girls who are enrolled there who would like to become arbitral experts, especially on the online dispute resolution technique. And these are clever kids, I am telling you. They know exactly everything about the software, which at our age we do not know anything about. And each of the senior arbitrators is looking for a right kind of person who is given and instilled with the kind of basis of dispute resolution. May that be arbitration, conciliation, or mediation for that matter.
Yeah.
So
Sir,
we would.
he also
yeah.
attended our week and presented a paper also.
Right,
That
right,
time.
right. So it was very,
from
very
London.
nice. As a matter of fact, you have the distinction of being the only lady who spoke here. As a matter of fact, many of the ladies had remained silent, and that is what was making me feel very, very uneasy.
No, it was very, very useful event. Though it's good that today is Saturday, and
Yeah.
I'm also off from my workplace. But it is really good. And since like in COVID time, all the legal system and courts are not very much active, and they are not at all able to do
Sure.
this any cases and pending cases backlog. So in
Sure.
this situation, mediation is the only chance, and mediation is the only right choice
That's
for the clients and candidates. This is the reason UK government also, and we are promoting for the training. And in August, we are having face-to-face training from August onward. We are
Lovely.
accepting international students as well. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. I think we can create a forum where we let our Indian students interact with their counterparts from abroad.
Yeah.
Because as you know, the actuarial sciences, the legal processes, these are basically very international, like construction. You construct everywhere, you resolve disputes everywhere, and you do the risk assessment everywhere. So I think that will be a good opportunity, and you can remain in touch with us. We'll make sure that we do it.
Definitely. It will be
And
my
Professor Punia is gem of a man. I have known him for many, many years. When he was basically the director of one of the the upcoming institutions, and that too in a deep hinterland, which had all the geographical, physical, financial, and all kind of challenges. And I had seen him going out and catching hold of people and bringing them to his institution to make sure that they interact with the students. And today, for his satisfaction, I can tell you that that institution has emerged as one of the biggest supporting arm of the local industry. Making insulators and making other things. They have the largest pool of young persons who are very qualified, and he's every kilogram worth his gold. I can tell you that. So when he says something, he means that. And it is just incidental that both of us, we come from the same state, and we believe in our state that if we say something, we honor that. That's it.
Dr. Swaroop, can I speak one line? I am Nagesh from Bangalore. We have met several times in several conferences. You had been a keynote speaker. Dr. Punia's talk was very, very thought-provoking for the industry. It is time that we, instead of blaming each other, we should get into the academia. Dr. Punia, I have given my personal contact details in the chat box. You can ask one of your team members to get in touch with me. I am already mentoring 2 colleges. I will be glad to do so. I'm retiring in another 1.5 years. So I will be glad to dedicate what society gave it to me.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Every event must have something which we can call as takeaway. And today's takeaway has been reasonably substantial, I would say. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir, Radhakrishnan from Chennai, sir.
Yes.
Madam will be a good resource person for us for training mediation in arbitration, sir.
Sure.
I am happy to be that. Yeah, I am happy to contribute whatever I can help, and I can give my best for the Indian community and for worldwide also.
Thank you very much, madam.
You know, madam, the best thing about being the lady dispute resolver is that whichever way the decision goes, nobody can basically be insolent to the arbitrator or mediator. I can tell you.
Yes.
If you're a lady mediator and arbitrator, all you have to do is to just give a fat smile, and the other fellow will have absolutely disarmed. I'm telling you that.
Thank you, sir. I think madam could be a right resource person, I feel.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
So I think Ashutosh, we can request.
Before we close, actually, we have promised everyone, the participants, that we'll have the open session. So we can open the session, and if people have any questions and queries, let's hear them out.
Sure.
If the presenters are here, they can answer it. Otherwise, we will make sure that we reach your query to the concerned person.
Ashutosh, I think there are many questions that have come on the chat in the chat box, and let us compile all those things. And of course, we had given our email IDs also, and it will be appropriate for everyone because it's already getting about 5 o'clock, and we have had a very, very hectic and a busy day today, and very well packed day. And I think with that, we can request Chairman CIDC to basically give his blessings and concluding remarks. And
yes, and before that, we will just try to remind everyone that please block your calendar for 29th and 30th September, when we have the mega conference on smart cities, which will be a sequel to this event. And you are most welcome to send in your suggestions and feedback for the topics of interest that you have. We've covered a lot of technology and a lot of practices today. But just in case you have some ideas, you can always share with us and we'll try to incorporate them. And we've also formed a steering group which met on the 7th of 17th of this month. And all of you are also invited to join in the proceedings. We'll inform each and every one of you for the Sir, we are not able to hear you.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, you have the responsibility of concluding today's session.
Okay. Thank you very much. And friends, today we had a very, very productive and thought-provoking discussions and presentations. And we all agree that the institution building, the skill of the manpower, the systems which we introduce, whether it is planning, whether it is implementation, whether monitoring, all those things which the issues have been raised, and the integration which we have been discussing between industry, education, and research institutions. That is the part. And even we discussed that what we really expect from a smart city, how to provide, who will to provide, and what their individual capacity and the manpower they engage, how to train those people, how to define their job descriptions, how to delegate the authority to those people and those authority institutions. I think all that system need to be developed. And it was a very productive day. And I think on 29th and 30th, we will elaborate it further within a more structured manner so that we come out with a sort of a manual or at least some guidelines for the people to follow. And not only the 100 cities, the idea is how to make all the cities smart. Another advantage we have today, hardly 50% of the future population is in the cities. We have to not only double, but maybe 2.5 times of the future population in the city. So we have to develop new integrated smart cities, particularly integrated industrial townships as small cities. And that will be the real need to accommodate the future populations rather than keep the existing cities growing further and further. I think a total network of industrialization, urbanization had to be planned, and those cities should be smart right from beginning, right from concept to planning to implementation and then further operation. So it is a big opportunity to develop new cities also in the smart fashion. I think with these few words, I thank you all for participating and delivering. Thank you, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I think with that, we can call it a day. And I thank all of you. May God bless us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a lovely and stay safe. Have a lovely day ahead.
You too.
Thank you for keeping you awake late.
No, for her it is afternoon.
Oh, yes. It is 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock.
He still has got another
6, 7 hours.
Before she hits the bed, actually, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Thank you all. So with
Thank
that,
you,
we close the session for today.
Thank you
see you all on the 29th and 30th. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.